So I was just about to tell you that my name is David Jacko. I'm a journalist, and I'm very glad to present this closing conference at Meet Innov. And let me tell you that the starting point of this roundtable is, of course, the Horizon 2020 European Commission program. As you know, it's 70 billion euro of budget for the next 7 years. It's a lot of money, and it's a great opportunities for SMEs and for innovative companies. In few days, it's I think it's 11 December, the project calls are going to be launched, so things would start really. And let me tell you also that all the guests that are here to discuss and to find practical solutions to see how can clusters and companies can work together on that European program, and to try to find and to talk about the best way and the best practices to succeed in collecting a part of this budget. So before the first question, maybe everyone should present him or herself in less than 1 minute. So maybe ladies are gonna start because we're gentlemen. So who's gonna start? I said 1 minute maximum.
Okay, let's go. My name is Anna Chirovrier Hansson. I'm coming from Sweden, south of Sweden, called Skåne, and I work with inward investments and collaborations internationally. We belong to a cluster called Medicon Valley. It's encompassing the greater Copenhagen area and the south of Sweden. So in my role, I'm helping SMEs finding ways in financing their collaborations with international partners. That's why I'm particularly interested in Horizon 2020.
Okay. The second lady is very important because she's got a huge wallet. She's from the European Commission.
Yes, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Wanda Nunes de Lima. I'm working at DG Joint Research Center in ISPRA. And more concretely, I'm working with data, special data infrastructures for Europe.
So if you didn't get it, she's got the check. So if you need money, come back at the end. She will give you the money you need. Thank you, European Commission. Who wants to...
So I'm John Lincoln. I'm from the UK, where I run the South of England Photonics Cluster, looking at all things involving light. And I'm also Chief Executive of the National Photonics Leadership Group, working with the entire £10.5 billion UK photonics industry, where we try and help them as much as possible work with our friends in Europe.
Okay. It's not totally chance, but you're sitting next to each other.
Yeah.
And Sébastien, you're in the same field.
Same field. Sébastien Magnaval, I represent Opticsvalley, which is cluster of high technology in Paris region. But inside this high technology, we share effectively the same domain than with John, photonic, optic and photonics. I also will speak in the name of the CNOP, which is the French National Committee for Optics and Photonics.
Okay. And the best for the end?
Good afternoon. I am Jesus Purroy. I'm from the Barcelona Science Park. We are not properly a cluster, even though we have very many of the features of a cluster. We host about 60 companies and 3 large research centers, most of them working on life sciences, and all of them very interested in Horizon 2020 and very likely to apply.
Okay, so let's get to the point. I was talking about the 70 billion euro budget. The last program was less. You told me it was like 40 billion euros, so it's close to double. So it's a lot of money, a major budget, important stake. I guess all of you guys or the company you know are going to compete. Are they enthusiastic about that new program? Okay.
Well, there's 2 things for me that make it very relevant. One is that the stress is on SMEs, very much so, compared with FP7, where SMEs played very much like a side role, or at least a very difficult role. In Horizon 2020, SMEs are at the center of the calls, so they are not something to add on to your project. They have to lead, and they have to be very central. So being a home to about 60 SMEs, that's very relevant for us. And the other thing is that there's a stress on dissemination of results. And that is something that was almost overlooked in previous programs. And here, it's not central, but it's more important than in previous calls. So a large part of our activity revolves around dissemination of science and dissemination of enterprise activity. So we see an opportunity there too, not only as as participants or as leaders in projects, but also as disseminators of the results of projects.
Yeah, because the competition is going to be really hard.
It is always really hard, but a good competition breeds good proposals. So competition is healthy.
Yeah, but of course. But do you think that the companies are self-confident at the beginning of this new program?
The companies are always cautious of change. Horizon 2020 represents a lot of change. So many of the SMEs
but going on the good way.
Oh yeah, they see it as a great opportunity, but they also want to see how it will work in practice. They're pragmatic. They want to understand the details of how it will operationally affect them. Because as a small company, you can't afford for it to go wrong. You need it to work for you. So they will look very closely at the details to make sure it's good for them.
Yeah, if we talk practical, the money could be, they say the money could be raised quicker. Not 12 months, but maybe 8 months. That's
what we are.
Yeah, to have the flow of money to come in 8 months rather than 12 months is, of course, a benefit for SMEs. They're always concerned about cash flow. To have money faster is good. But the SMEs will also ask, will the Commission achieve 8 months? Is that realistic? Or will it actually be an 8-month aspiration and be longer than that in practice? So SMEs will want to know what really happens. The goals are very good, but SMEs will really want to know what actually happens on the ground.
Jesus Pourreuil was saying that the SMEs and the companies were at the center of the program. When you read the program on the big lines, it says that the innovations have to be closer to market concern and have to lead to business opportunities. Again, it seems it's going really close to the concern of companies.
Yeah, and I think that the good point is to try really to translate research ideas into commercial available products in the quicker way. And that we can do together. And that's the spirit of this call as well, when you know that you need to have 3 countries involved in most of them. You need to really have an international platform. And that's by doing this and speeding up the process and giving the right ammunition, we will be able to then, I work in life science, to bring products closer to the patients and more rapidly, I think.
The project call are not going to be a surprise, to be honest, because there was a lobbying. We talked about it just before. There has been a lobbying. So the companies know on what that they will have to work.
The Commission are very smart and have got clever over many years in working out where the opportunities are. The Commission, to be commended, they do not create these calls out of nowhere. They look to see where the opportunities are and where the gaps are in the market, and they try and support those opportunities. So they are not being done in isolation, and that is to be commended. The Commission spend a lot of time working out where they should put their money. It's not blanket everywhere money, and I think under Horizon 2020 there will be more specific and put it in even more focused areas around the real opportunities, which is a good development.
And in your field of photonics, you could work together, UK and French companies?
We can. Yes.
Yes, we can.
We have to. This is because
you see more each other as partners or competitors?
Like we said just before, we are partners, definitely. I mean, the rule of the call is clearly that we have to find partners all around in the countries of Europe. But before, when you want to answer a call, if you are SMEs, and if you can answer a call, it's sometimes because of the work done before by the cluster structure like us. If we want to ensure, for instance, in France, the same good results in H2020 than what we achieved in the FP7, it means last program. It's because we think that we did a good effort in one particular in the European technological platform called Photonics 21. 21st, sorry. We did the job with partners like UK, Germany, like John, for instance. We share the subject since 2 years now. We try to find the best subject for our SMEs, and we do our job as a cluster. We represent the SMEs in this kind of structure, and then we hope that in the next months, SMEs will answer to the H2020 call because of what we did again, because the SMEs will find the keywords. The SMEs will find really the way to develop their product in this call. And we all want this development to be close to the market. That's a key point. That's something we discuss again since 2 years. So yes, we are partners, definitely. We are partners, but when you define the keyword for your SMEs, when you're French, it's probably not the same keyword than for SMEs coming from UK or from Germany.
Because you have different cultures, different...
Strength.
Strength, yeah.
We share a lot of technologies with our friends in UK, but for instance, I don't know if they are the same potential than us than in telecom or in health. So our job again since 2 years, it's to try to convince people from Brussels that the best way to develop our technology in Europe is that one. And again, because of the strength I represent. But when you did the job, when the job has been done, then you can start the collaboration. You have to find partners all around in over the countries in Europe. That's the rule.
So what's your reaction when you hear all those exchange, the fact that it's more centered on companies, that there are less administration, paperwork, funds available quicker?
What I can say on that, so the Commission has its objectives, the main goals within the Horizon 2020, and to reach those goals, the Commission put in place or developed policies for that, and as a way to reach those, to develop those policies, and also to implement them with the implementing measures, it's also through the opportunities that gives for the SMEs to participate with their competence on developing products, on developing services, just in line with the policies that are developed by the European Commission. So if you look to those policies and the ones that are taking, let's say, I cannot say priority, but the ones that are now in the way to be developed as an innovation for future, you find there a lot of opportunities for the SMEs to apply, and also namely with the policies we see regarding the use and make available of data, the obligation to share data and to make the data available for the public administration, for the private service, for the citizens, to build upon the data that becomes available. You find a lot of opportunities, that's for sure.
For maybe small innovative companies that maybe are here with us listening, it's too late to compete because as what I understand, there was a lobby since 2 years, so maybe it's too late to compete?
Absolutely not. The calls open in December. They open. That's the opening. It's not the closing. It's the opening in December. And that's only the first round of calls. So there'll be another round of calls the following year, in 2015 as well. I know many SMEs, if you look at the specific elements that are called this year, there may not be anything that's relevant to you. It may be that you have to wait until 2015 to find the specifics that are relevant to you. Some of the more SME-focused programs won't be coming in until 2015, things to do with pilot lines and other initiatives. So it very much depends on what your technical speciality is, what your business is focused on, whether this call is relevant or the next one.
And about just the fact that there's more money in the European budget, but there's less money on the national budget. So maybe that's why also maybe companies from all over Europe are trying to compete.
But it's not only competing, they need to find partners, because if you have more money in the EU budget, it means that by finding a partner in another country, you can increase your total budget with them. So I think it's very smart to look quite rapidly or intensively in finding the right partners for your technology and complementing each other, that you have access to these calls.
What kind of advice you could give to companies that are here, that are listening to us?
I would say
To find other companies to
come in contact with your cluster organization. They know about the process, and then get alerted about events, international events, when you can meet peers and partners in Europe, and then start discussions early on. Start to discuss, your R&D opportunity together, and so we know, particularly in the field of life science, which is my field, it takes some time to come to a point when you know how you want to, make your project together. So find ways in interacting internationally early on. Wouldn't you say so?
Absolutely. The advice I often give SMEs is to bank the business card for the future. So you may meet somebody at an event here that is not a collaborator that you may use for 18 months. But if you bank them and file them mentally, you can come back to them and say, actually, that call is now coming out of Europe. That person I met in Paris a year ago would be an ideal collaborator for that program. So what I always say is be collaboration aware, so that you can pick up that business card in a year's time and ring them up and say, hey, this call is now coming out. It's now relevant. Now's the time we should get together.
Other advice?
Yeah, I was going to say that from the science park point of view, not the cluster, but we do something similar in a way, and it's to be multipliers of information. So sometimes you want to apply for some particular call, and of course you already have your own network. But there's some piece that's missing, something that's required by the call or that might be interesting to have, and you don't reach that particular type of partner. And I would advise an SME trying to apply to contact either their cluster organization or their nearest science park, because we do have this kind of information. We have these networks, and for us it's very easy to place a query saying, I have this company here looking for a partner for this nanotech call, and they want somebody who's an expert in this particular thing. And most of the time, we get some answer back from wherever, from Stockholm or from Heidelberg or from wherever. There's somebody who is willing to participate in this consortia. So it's a way to streamline the process.
Just again to talk about the fact that as there was a kind of a lobby during 2 years, I guess that what the protocols will be launched in December. You won't be surprised by you know already the components of in your field.
The components in the first call for Horizon 2020 are in the public domain. That is published information already. So the calls are not open yet, but the content is already there, and the content has been agreed over a long iterative process. So they are not. The Commission never published these things in isolation. They go through a very long consultation process to get a lot of opinions, a lot of refinement. They are often very open to refinement. And one of the other things I often say to SMEs, and this often comes through clusters, is the Commission are always interested in people's opinion. They will listen to people who say, actually, that's not quite right. If you word it like that, you will exclude this. And often that input to the Commission is channeled through clusters, and the Commission are very good, very, very good at listening to that input, especially when you highlight certain wording may give problems to certain types of things. And mostly they change things and amend them, and you get improved wording. The words in the calls are not extensive, but they have been thought about in very, very fine detail.
So all of you agree that there are less obstacles. So it goes, the intentions are good coming from the European Commission, but after you want to see practically what's going to happen, but the intentions are good.
Yes, we feel, coming from the SMEs, a lot of interest in H 2020. The intention is good, you're right. So what we have to do now in the clusters, it's like it has been said, we have to give the good information and help really the SMEs to go to this new way to innovate for them. Even if we've got already a lot of SMEs represented into the photonics project, for instance, in France, we feel that because of these new rules, these new objectives of H2020, we will be able to find new SMEs to come and play with all their future partners in other countries. There's a real, I will say, a real hope right now, but we'll see.
So I can feel that you're quite self-confident on that program.
It's when I talk to SMEs and you highlight what's changing, the focus on SMEs, faster, easier, closer to market. I don't know any SMEs that go, that's a bad thing, right? SMEs think that's a fantastic thing.
Okay, some other point you want to highlight when you hear this?
Just to say that sometimes we can think about clusters in not only in putting together the ones that are closer to create a cluster. Sometimes a cluster can also be conceived by putting people from different sectors which can complement each other to solve a certain issue. And if I see in many practical occasions, the best results comes from cross-sector, let's say, competencies, in that case, SMEs, that come together from different countries, from different sectors, from different competencies to build upon something together. More and more, it's important to have solutions cross borders because most of the events doesn't stop at the border of a country. All relates to environment, but not only. They are really cross borders, and we need to have an overall view from Europe, not only member states, also EFTA countries. And if you think on that way, you are able to find out also good partnership for certain projects.
Yeah.
I mean, I think one comment there is when I speak to SMEs who've been involved in past European programs, they say the thing they get out of it that's most valuable is the interaction with their other partners. Their partners become their customers. They become their suppliers. The actual value of the work done in the project is almost secondary to them. It's the interactions with this diverse range of pan-European partners that gives them a whole network base and a whole new customer and supplier base. And 4 or 5 years down the line, that's what they say is most valuable.
Just a comment on the idea of making it easy for SMEs to participate. At least in my sector, in life science, healthcare, we have a point of comparison with the Innovative Medicines Initiative, which has on one side EU money with big pharma money, and on the other side it has pharma biotech SMEs participating in these calls. That has been running for a number of years now, and it is, at least for the healthcare biotechs, it's a very popular call because it's very, very simple and the results are very visible. So immediately you are doing business, and I mean, the end of the process makes everybody happy. So the expectation for Horizon 2020, for healthcare biotechs at least, is that if it is as easy and as productive as the IMI, then it's okay. But at least they have a point of comparison. They can say, is it as good as this, or is it not as good as this? So when they say that it's going to be easier for SMEs to participate, they have a reference point. They have some place to look at.
Just to add a point which is very important when building a project like that or a competition, is to take in mind the sustainability of the result you propose with a project. It happens quite often that a project gets a good score and gets financed out of a competition, but if there is not foreseen since the beginning what is the sustainability of the solutions proposed, this type of investment gets lost. And I think more and more, also now for the future competitions, the sustainability solutions that are foreseen within the proposal are going to play an important role.
Okay, maybe someone has question to ask about what we said, but the main theme we should we have said is that it's going on the right way for small companies on that Europe program, and that's pretty good news. And as we said, the budget, the domestic budget are shrinking, so there more money on the European one, and it's easier for companies to compete. Well, on the paper, it's good news. Okay, someone wants to say or ask a question or not? Someone wants to say something to no?
I think one of the important things to emphasize is that Horizon 2020 is all about bringing people together. So it's all about bringing a number of companies and research institutes, and you should not forget that research institutes are often key partners in a Horizon 2020 program or in previous ones. It's bringing them together to get something to the market faster that's bigger than the sum of the components. It's not 1 + 1 = 2, it's 1 + 1 = 3. And that's a very, very important element to how it works and the benefits that it gives. And that's reflected, I think, in one of the subtle changes that I've heard from the Commission is that they want a greater emphasis on people in any project being there from all aspects of the supply chain. So from the materials, the basic components, the integrators to the system players. So this aspect of having people from throughout the supply chain, helps with sustainability because it helps say how will that product get to market, because you have somebody who is the end market in your consortium, but it also solves the problem of where will the materials come from to make it all happen. So that through value, through the whole value chain representation, so that you get this 1 + 1 = 3 type multiplying effect is a very key aspect. And I see that sustainability and growth and capturing the innovative potential in Europe is a key aspect of how these will be assessed. And you really got to argue in your proposals how you're going to make Europe bigger and better and stronger, because that's what will impress the Commission.
And I would like to say that really come and contact with your cluster organizations. Don't hesitate to contact international clusters as well. Come with ideas on platforms you would like to see. For example, should we have a delegation from other countries coming here? I mean, you have Spain, Sweden, England here. If we come with companies to your next meet Innov, can we organize some kind of matchmaking related to the calls? Can we make things happen there already? So it would be some kind of opening as well.
Okay. Well, you have a plane. You have a plane.
I have a plane, yes, I have a plane.
You told me I must leave at 25. Okay.
We're on time. We behave.
Okay. If there's no question, no, yes, no. Thank you for being with us, for listening, and I hope everything was clear and the message was also as clear as possible. Thank you very much. Thank you.